Hello!
We're back.
Can everybody see us? I
Look,
hope that
we're seriously back though too, like in a big way.
we're really glad to be. We've done these live streams for quite a bit in the fall. I guess, John, was it the
Last
fall?
breaks we started. I think it was
summer.
It was
Summer,
May,
fall.
I think it was May the 4th because it was I was lamenting the fact that we missed May the 4th Be With You Star Wars Day to mention it on the first podcast.
Right.
Look at that memory.
Yeah, he's a Star
Look at
Wars
that
guy,
for
and
you.
we're gonna get into some more Star Wars stuff later on in our chat today. So anybody that's new here, we wanted to jump on a little early. We start typically at 5:30 on Mondays, and we saw everybody chatting here on Facebook. Particularly, and so we wanted to jump on. I see Amy on Twitch as well, and
Sweet.
she's also on YouTube.
Is Amy on Twitch? So
yeah.
Amy must be our first Twitch
Yeah, we
viewer.
appreciate that. Yeah, she's big. She's big on Twitch. She was here for all the for the other streams as well. For all of you here from Facebook, thank you so much, and thanks for your comments. I see Ryan Donnelly's here. We got Jennifer, Kathy, Katrina, Kevin, Elaine, and
here, yeah.
a lot of you
Amazing.
folks. I see. Oh, you saw us at.
Kevin's watching from Southeast Saskatchewan.
Holy smokes! So
That's
we've,
awesome, Kevin. Good to see you,
I'm
man.
so glad. One thing I'm really glad about is that we're able to. So, for you folks that are newer here, let me tell you, this setup that we have is way better than what we had before. We were using Zoom, and
It was rough.
as Eliza's here and Amy know, it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
Zoom was fine, but my computer basically would explode whenever I tried to do anything.
James's
so,
fan would it sounded like the computer's going to take off.
Yeah, so anyways, what I'm really glad about though is that we're able to get onto Facebook now and stream to a bunch of different places at once with this setup, and I know that we have a lot of folks that we've connected with on Facebook particularly, and we're really appreciative that we're able to finally get over to Facebook and to get to everywhere and sort of keep our streams going here. Well, John, do you want to give an overview of kind of what we like to do or why we even wanted to do this sort of stream?
Yeah, we started doing this live stream every Monday, 5:30. We were doing it for all of season 1. Season 1 ran from early May until I guess end of August. And
thank you, Dwayne, for sharing the stream
awesome.
on
Thank
Twitch.
You, Dwayne.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And so we've been sort of highlighting, obviously with COVID happening, James and I we quarantined together as best as we can, and because we try and continue to be creative throughout this time. But this was an opportunity for us to be able to connect with people throughout the summer while things were in lockdown. We're back in lockdown here again, so we thought this is the perfect time to start up season 2. What off-road with the Abrams is just it's literally spending time with us in our own living room. This is how we started playing music way back when we were kids with our family, 4th generation musicians on the road touring and playing music, but we grew up playing music in the living room with our family, old-time bluegrass and country music, and that's how we got started. So for us, we wanted a format that allowed you to come into our living room with us, where we hang out with you and chat just like you're members of our own family. And I mean, that's really what our music has always been about. And that's why, we want to make sure we connect with fans on the road, but also off the road. And because we've been off road so much over the last year with COVID, this is a great opportunity to continue to
Absolutely.
hang out with people.
And for anybody that is dropping in and hoping for some music, we do that from time to time. We also are trying to learn how to get our music to be able to play it through the stream, so that might be something to do in the future.
Exactly, we're getting better
but it's
now
definitely
with,
it's
tech.
definitely on the table as something that we're figuring out. And of course on Zoom we did play together and jam together, in amongst talking and chatting about stuff that we're interested in on a daily basis. And so we really just want it to kind of be a place that we can all hang out and have a good time.
Yeah.
So anyways,
well, off-road also means, I will just quickly say, off-road also means we go off on tangents. James and I, when it comes to any kind of conversation, we delve into all kinds of different topics. We tell stories from the road, but we also talk about TV shows that we're into right now. We talk about gaming stuff that we're into right now.
Yeah.
We talk about just recording anything and everything. We really pull into it's current events.
Yep.
Last season we did a whole spread, like a whole segment on the dying malls of America.
Yeah.
We did a chocolate bar tasting.
The dying
session.
mall. The dying mall.
That was cool.
The dying mall video somehow was. I don't know if it's a keyword thing or whatever, but
It's
it
like
got the most views
like our number one video.
Of any of the streams for some reason.
Yeah.
So there must be quite a dying mall enthusiast community or something on YouTube.
Right, yeah.
But let's just go through the chat here, John, quick. I just want to make sure that we acknowledge everybody. We're so happy that, and so appreciative that you would spend even a couple minutes. We typically hang out for, often up to about an hour or so.
It's usually
it really depends on how we're feeling. But I just want to I really appreciate, and John, I know, appreciates, a couple minutes that you guys are able to drop in and just say hello. We really appreciate the connection that we're able to have.
Totally.
With fans and anyone, so
I want to mention Katrina here.
Yeah.
She has commented and said, "You guys are fantastic. Met you in November 2019 at the Novotel after
nice.
you played at the Mississauga Living Arts Center. We let you in the door when you couldn't get in the side door." We 100% remember that. We had the bus outside.
That makes me think of a story. You keep
Right?
going.
Yeah,
but
we had the bus parked outside Mississauga. It was an awesome show at the Living Arts Center that we played. We actually had a November tour across Ontario last year, and it's so crazy to think that was over a year ago. But anyway, had a wonderful tour and pulled up. I think the bus, we were having trouble getting it started or something. The battery died.
It was terrible. That tour.
But we got the bus parked in front of the Novotel and we had to get inside.
Didn't we just glide?
You guys let us in. You were awesome for that.
We glided the bus into it had shut off, and we had gotten it just out of the way. Often when the bus,
That's usually the deal.
Often when the bus breaks down, it's in the worst spots. But fortunately, we were but I think we were blocking some cars.
Yeah.
Anyways, the story
You can't tow the bus though. Like nobody can tow the bus.
We showed. I think we did show on an earlier podcast the bus being pulled up. We got broke
crazy.
down in Wyoming, and they pulled the entire bus onto the back of a flatbed, if you can believe it. And the way they did it, it was just like magic.
That was the only tow truck capable of towing that bus in that hemisphere of, or you call it hemisphere, in that section of the United States.
Yeah,
so.
well, and Wyoming is the least populated state,
Exactly.
right?
I don't
so
think
there's really not many people there to help you.
Exactly.
And fortunately, there was a great team of guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the story
I don't
reminds me
I don't think the
of,
city of Mississauga is equipped to tow the bus. That's all I'm saying.
I think they probably
think
are.
do you
I
think
think
they're
that
fully
they're
equipped
as
to-
capable as
We should research
Wyoming.
that. I am
Yeah.
curious to know the jurisdictions that are capable of towing our tour bus. It's quite a monster of a vehicle.
So quickly, the not being able to get into a venue reminds me of a story. We were playing at a college around Toronto,
Fanshawe.
and we were opening. We were the opening band, and so we weren't the headliners on the day. And it's sometimes we are, but I mean
That day we were on the bill with Jess Moskluke.
Yeah. So for any
And,
Canadian country music fans,
I
and
think it was
Chad Brownlee, I
that
believe.
night too. Yeah.
So
Good times.
I go to find a washroom before we go up on stage, and I'm going down. It's like this. It's this college is a maze, right? And I leave. At one point I leave like a checkpoint area, but I don't really realize it because it's pretty low key. There's nobody really there in terms of security and whatnot. But so I go out of this checkpoint and I find the washroom, and when I come back, all of a sudden there's a security guard at this checkpoint. So clearly they just had taken, I don't know, a break, or
You
were going
were
to do
spinal tapping your way in the back because you couldn't
Sure.
find your way through the.
And
pretty
yeah,
much the
exactly.
deal,
And
yeah.
so I came back, and it's the one and only time I've ever had to, because the show was about to start and I wasn't going to be on
actually.
stage.
Like
It
they
was a
were
nightmare.
announcing us. They were announcing
And so I
us.
had to pull out my phone, and it was the one and only time I've had to Google myself and show a picture and say, look, this is me, and I have to play, because they didn't believe me at
They
all.
didn't
When
believe him
I
at
was
all.
trying to, because we're not that well known. So I mean, it's not like the person would just recognize me.
Well,
but
this
I had
is
to
a few-
Google myself, and it was funny.
This was a few years ago, and we were just getting started sort of on the radio, and you were dressed like pretty much any guy in the audience who was at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
show,
yeah, yeah.
right? Like any guy at the country show, there's a profile. Right now, you kind of fit it, James. Like you get the ball cap.
Yeah.
You're just missing the plaid shirt.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm kind of rocking the denim, which is kind of that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Happy New Year to everyone. There's lots of Happy New Year
Yes.
comments.
Drew Compson's gone. Drew Compson's on. Awesome, and Linda
Nice.
Rob's back. Right on.
Nice.
It's good to see you guys. Oh, I love this, man. This is what it's all about for us. When James and I are out on the road, we every single time without fail, you're probably hearing it through my headphones.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Of course you would do that.
Yeah.
Leave that on, John.
Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so
No,
I was going to say that the thing that James and I like to do at every show, and I don't think we missed it. Maybe we did just recently. I think because of a COVID show that we played back in the fall, we performed actually in Sealy's Bay, Ontario, which is right near where we grew up in Joyceville, is the farm community that James and I grew up in. So we played in Sealy's Bay, and this was the only show. It was the first show in 20 years on the road, and James and I have been touring since we were 9 and 11 years old, that we didn't go out after because we weren't allowed to go out after and shake hands.
Oh, it was
and
terrible.
meet and greet with the audience, and it was so difficult for us because after every single show, whether it's a theater show or a small club or a Boots and Hearts or a Big Valley Jamboree, we always go out and meet and greet with the audience after we're done our shows. And so this is 100% seeing this comment feed, seeing you guys jump in and chat with us. This is exactly the online version of us going out and standing. And the nice thing is nobody's in line here. You can all just kind of talk at the same time, which is awesome. So this is why we do this. Honestly, you guys, it makes us feel so good, especially having been off the road.
Okay. Linda always brings the reality and brings the she just keeps us in check.
Yeah. She was our
and
Linda was our teacher.
I was already aware of this. Yeah.
We should mention that Linda was our math teacher, a math teacher at LaSalle Secondary School. And did she teach you? Did she teach me? Did we ever have a class with Mrs. Rob?
No, I didn't have math with her.
No, but we were involved
I've known
in a
many
number of
people
things
that had
with her.
math. Yeah, with her. Yeah. I wish I had her for math for sure.
That'd be awesome.
Sorry, can I continue here?
Yes, you can. I'm
So,
sorry, James, I cut you off.
she's very aware, and I. Well, let's talk about it now because a lot of these folks here might leave for what is one of the most important things around the holiday season for Canadians, and that's watching the World Juniors,
Right.
which is junior hockey championships that happen all over the world.
Right.
That have junior hockey players that compete for their different countries, and I did have that on my list
We're
as
big
something
fans.
I wanted to chat about today. So we could chat about that quickly, and then we have tons of other stuff to get to. But let's do that because people might be leaving for that.
Well, Ms. Rob is saying it starts at 6. So
Yeah.
if suddenly we have nobody on the stream
That's
at
fine.
6, we get it.
That's fine.
Totally get
That's
it.
fine. So let's talk about
Go
that
ahead.
now. In fact, let's kind of
No
be
problem.
the hype up show for that. For the Canadians here, just for a couple minutes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not gonna
For
for
the-
anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about. It's fine. We won't talk about
The
this forever. but-
off-brand, unofficial hype-up show for the Canadian World
So
Tournament.
I've been watching the games. I don't know. Have you been following, John?
No, I haven't been watching.
That's-
I've been ripping
so
drywall.
Here, what a great pre-game show you're gonna get here, folks. But
No,
just
I
in
watched
case,
with you. I watched
it
the
is
game
at
with you
6
where they
p.m.
blew out.
This is the semifinals.
Right.
Tomorrow is going to be the finals, and the finals for the gold is at 9:30 tomorrow. And there's 2 games today. Canada's playing Russia, and USA is playing Finland.
Gonna be good.
Um,
Gonna be good.
Canada hasn't lost yet, and I don't know if they've trailed yet actually in any game. I don't think that they have. I think that was one record that I had seen on TSN. But a cool thing about the team that it has been neat for me and our dad actually. Our dad does a lot of things, but one particular thing that he does on the side of the many things he does is he works with a cousin of ours who
Right.
And actually multiple cousins are really big in hockey.
A couple of our cousins. Yeah.
And he helps out with some of the goalie stuff because our dad actually played
Marty and
ice
Kevin, right?
hockey goalie in what's called the Major Junior Hockey League in Canada when he was younger, and before he became an RCMP officer and did a whole bunch of other stuff. And there's a goalie from the same league I believe it is the Levi goalie who is kind of it's an underdog story. He doesn't play in the highest tier of junior hockey in Canada. Although at this point it's become more close, the league that he's in, but the league that he's in streams more to college rather than streaming straight toward pro hockey.
I've seen that.
I guess that's the short way to explain it. And it's kind of it's not often that players from that league get up to that team, so it's cool to see kind of an underdog story of him being able to get up and play and do that. So I was very excited for the game today. In fact, I thought I was going to be able to catch it because I in my head thought that we started at 5 p.m.
Right.
That's why I mentioned that to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we understand that in about 15 minutes that's happening. So
Yes.
if you guys have to take off for that, by all means.
Well, what
for
I
other
can
folks
speak
around, I
to-
know we have other folks watching from around the world that aren't watching.
Yeah,
it,
well,
so.
and I can speak to the World Juniors every year. Even though this year this past a couple weeks I've been ripping out drywall and doing a bunch of stuff and really not watching much TV. But the World Juniors every year for Canadians are a massive event, and I've definitely sat through many World Junior hockey tournaments, and there is a coming together of people around hockey in Canada that is something really special for anybody out there who might be international. It's a very special thing, and it's very interesting how hockey intersects with country music. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you see a lot of people. I mean, there's
They
hockey
play a lot of
players
Canadian,
playing
yeah.
country music and vice versa.
Yeah.
Country musicians who were hockey players, but also you see a lot of that at festival culture as well, right? At country music festival culture, you see a lot of hockey and country coming together, and I think it has a little bit to do with, particularly when it comes to Canada, the sense of community around hockey and the sense of community around country music. Like, I mean, there's something really special about community around the genre of country music, because when you're a country fan, and for anybody out there who's a country fan, you're not just a fan of the artist. You're also a fan of the lifestyle. You're a fan of what country music represents in your life. You know, where you live, where you come from, the kind of job you have. Like the genre represents more. It's bigger than just the artists, on their own, right?
Yeah.
And so that's it. Hockey in the same way, it's so much about the players and so much about the game, but it's also bigger than the game. It's bigger than the players. It's about a national sense of unity in Canada. And so I think that's why they kind of intersect.
Absolutely.
And so there you go. How's that for pregame, James?
Yeah, love it.
I got my part in there.
But that is a big part of holidays for Canadians and,
For sure.
and around Christmas time, Boxing Day, it always
Right
starts
after,
up.
yeah.
And but I'll just throw something out to you guys. How was everybody's holidays? Were they good? Did everybody have a nice Christmas?
Yeah.
I mean, we had a great New Year. Was there anything, John, over the holidays that really stuck out for you in terms of something that happened?
Yeah,
or?
you know what? I think this year, because of COVID, we were trying to keep it more distanced, keep it a little more low key. And you know what? We weren't running around as much. And that was one thing that I was thankful for. As difficult as this time has been for a lot of people, we know, not just the fact that you can't go see your friends and family as much, but also because of lots of financial reasons for many people. We know it's been a difficult time, but one positive way that we tried to look at it was that we weren't like running around like chickens with our heads cut off, as we often are at Christmas, right? Like it gets crazy and it gets difficult to do everything at once. So I think that was kind of a nice thing this year. It was a little bit more introspective,
Yeah, I had one of the most event. I'm trying to think if I guess it was around New Year's Day. Our mom was coming over with. We get these, and you know what really helps too in these sort of quarantine times. Good food. We're not affiliated with Good Food. It's not some
this
ad
isn't
here.
an ad. But we
It's
get
a
it.
food service. We get a food service where you get the food delivered. The groceries.
Yeah, there's a lot of different services out there.
Our parents sometimes. My mom, she'll forget to stop the order that week. It's the way it all works out. You set up different weeks.
You get
and
it in boxes
cancel.
in
And
the mail,
I don't know
right?
if anybody's had any of those at home. There's different companies that do it. But she had some overflow of a couple of these meals, and she was bringing it to me, and she came up.
Oh, that's nice.
It was nice for her.
Really nice. I didn't get one.
Yeah. I'm a little closer to her. I think maybe I should do. No, not in terms of me being closer to
Geographic.
her, but geographically.
Oh, geographically.
So she came
geographically.
and I thought, this will be sweet.
She knew that we had good food this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have two.
Mom.
For anybody that's newer here, I have 2 cats. John has 2 dogs. And although I like dogs and John likes cats. I don't know. Do you enjoy? Do you like
I
cats?
like animals, man. I'm an animal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have Petey the censorship owl.
So, anyways,
back here.
I picked up my smallest cat, and you
There
can
you go.
see her on our Instagram page at
you
the
go.
Abrams Music.
Yeah.
If you're interested in seeing what she looks like, she's really cute.
She's
She's
a
like
cute cat.
one of the cutest little
Cute cat,
cats, you
yeah.
know. Anyways, I am a little biased, but I pick her up, and I
Slightly.
think, I'm gonna greet Mom at the door,
Oh yeah.
and
oh no.
and she got spooked by my mom, and I got the worst. Because her nails went through like my shirt and what
Yeah.
I was wearing, got the worst scratches. Right, it hurts if I even like right down the front of my chest.
It's like Wolverine or something.
So it was that was a nice way to cap off
rough. It's really
2020.
deep.
2020 with everything that's happened in 2020. I understand that, or I feel for most people out there. It's been definitely more of a difficult year, and I'm happy for us to be starting this stream up again in 2021. And we got Dwayne and Liz in here. Thank you guys.
Yay!
Happy New Year.
Gasparette.
Gasparette.
Yay! That's awesome. And
yeah,
Mags from
miss
Big
you as
Church.
well.
Mags from Big
Oh,
Church.
nice. We
And
got
Nico's
Nico.
back. Right on.
Right
I love
on.
seeing that, Nico. That's
Such
great.
a good group. This is great. You know, John, opening up to Facebook has really allowed a bunch of great people that we connect with.
Yeah, of course.
See,
we couldn't do that last time because we were doing it through Zoom.
Yeah.
We had to go direct to YouTube, and so now we can do it on Twitch and Facebook, and we're getting
Right
there
on,
with
Kevin. Go Canada.
everything. Love it. Love it.
Debbie, thanks for waving. We appreciate that. We've had a couple of people
I like Debbie's.
like the stream on
I
Twitch.
like Debbie's
Thank
middle
you.
name Hippiness. That's
Nice.
awesome. Debbie
Michelle,
Hippiness.
thank you. Just want to mention a few of these folks here, John,
Yeah,
so we
let's do
don't miss any, because they actually do go away, which I didn't realize. We're still learning some of this stuff.
We're getting the hang of it.
To circle back a little bit, the reason why we are able to make this show a little bit higher production and hopefully we'll be able to get some quality audio in terms of music across to you guys at some point as well if you come back on Mondays at 5:30 p.m.
Yeah.
I have to figure that stuff out. But this was a big step for me, right, John? Because
huge step.
anybody that was here, so we got, Amy or Aliza or Akeem. Akeem was saying was here. I think maybe his chat went away. He said, you guys hadn't done this for a long time. I read
That's
his
yeah.
I read his
We were on
comment here.
hiatus.
Sorry about that, man. Yeah, we took a bit of a break, and then I was just collecting some stuff. So what did I get, John?
James got himself a new gaming streaming recording computer. And
Thanks, Scott, for liking the stream. We
and
appreciate that, man.
So that its fans are a lot quieter than your little laptop.
Yeah.
A lot
No, my
quieter.
laptop was going to explode every
Yeah.
time I would just run
It was rough.
run a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And thanks, Francois. So I got a new PC, and I got a PC with like sort of some specs to it that are a little amped up. So because some of you that have been here with us know that I do like to game from time to time.
All I know about it is that it's got nice, pretty rainbow colors on the front. Like
Yeah, it's got some. I guess that's RBG.
changing
right?
RBG colors. That's all I know about it, James. It's pretty. It's
Anyways,
a pretty big
anyways, and I was able to get a couple of you folks watching Canada tonight who have 9 minutes until I think the game starts here.
It's gonna start.
You might see on the commercials a game called Cyberpunk pop up.
Yes, Cyberpunk 2077.
It had a lot of controversy. Actually, you might have read about it in the news, maybe, because
Yeah.
I think it was it was a very controversial release because of the way they hyped up the game, and then a whole bunch of people couldn't play it because it was kind of
Glitchy.
very glitchy. But not on this thing, man. Not on this thing.
No, James
It can run it, and I showed him.
showed me the other day.
And
so
John,
they-
it blew his mind.
Well-
These video games that are coming out are insane.
I think in the last season we talked about my top favorite films. Okay, one of them being Blade Runner.
yes. So it's very Blade
Runner's
Runner.
very high on my list. This is basically Blade Runner in a game, and it's unbelievable the detail in this game. Like I can't even believe how incredibly detailed they can make stuff like this now.
Yeah.
It just feels so.
And I showed you.
lifelike.
What other game did I show you?
James showed me Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh,
Okay.
now that one,
Which is
I have to
very much
say,
close to our hearts.
that one to this point is my favorite game
Yeah.
of all time because it's cowboys.
Cowboys and country.
It's
and,
awesome. And the
riding
music.
horses.
The music is so great. In fact, I think Daniel Langlois.
Daniel
Langlois, sorry.
Yeah.
It's the French last name. They got me saying Daniel.
Yeah.
He did some of the
No
music
way.
for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
big
it's
fan
very
of
cool.
him. Yeah, big fan of
Canadian.
him for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, anyways, it was pretty cool for John to see that. But
I don't get
was
out
there any
much.
comments that you had on those, John?
I don't get out much, so it was cool for me to see that. Thanks for the privilege, James.
Well, you have a Nintendo Switch. If you've got any young folks in here, they got.
I have a Switch, and I've played Zelda Breath of the Wild way too much.
Yeah.
Like I've got it now.
Let me just stop you for 1 second, though. The reason why, just for any folks that aren't connected with games at all or want to know why this is relevant at all, it's relevant to me at least because it's the reason why I was actually even learned about streaming, and
That's right.
It opened up this kind of avenue for connecting with people. I would never have really known about it, and I didn't know it was such a thing. And then once I found Twitch, I found obviously YouTube gaming. I now Facebook. For you folks that are on Facebook, they have Facebook gaming and streaming. It's becoming, and especially in these sort of times in quarantine, streaming is really taken off.
Totally.
And although it already had, it's really something that people have integrated into all sorts of events. And so it's really just kept John and I up in the. Listen, we lag behind. I don't know about you guys out there. You guys can let us know in the chat if you feel like you lag behind tech. But John and I definitely
we're running to keep
I
up.
feel like maybe it was the way that we when we were growing up, we were always connecting with people that were older than us, right?
Well, that's true. Yeah.
And so I feel like we kind of
bluegrass,
feel a little like old souls that don't really want to keep up with.
I think it's a few things, right? Number one, I think it's because we grew up in
Tina Abrams, thanks for liking the stream. Appreciate that.
Awesome, that's great. I think it's because we grew up playing bluegrass festivals.
I don't know why that's not supposed to be a zombie as well. So let's keep it real. There's some rough edges here.
Yeah, I like the zombie guy.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be.
It's not really on brand for us, but I like him.
I'll fix that.
He kind of like Anyway, no, I was gonna say I think you're right, James. We grew up playing at bluegrass festivals, which was a little more. Some of the festivals were a lot of young people there, but a lot of the festivals we play have, older audience, a lot of our grandparents' peers at the time. And so that was kind of, a lot of our friends were our grandparents' friends and our parents' friends in that kind of sphere growing up. But also, all throughout the summer, anytime that we had time off, we were playing music, not playing games. Or we were outside hanging out. Riding ATVs.
I never played games as a kid.
Running around outside,
No. So it's brought me up
building
to speed.
forts and stuff, right? So
it's helped me kind of just bring me up to speed with what's going on.
Well, and also we play now when we're touring, and we've got the guys at the back of the bus.
Yeah.
We always have.
So there's a communal, and you know what? The streaming makes games, makes people be able to connect around games, which to me it makes them less isolating, and that's what
I like that
for
about
me.
streaming.
That's what clicked for me once I saw that. I'm like, oh, this isn't like you go off by yourself, and you go into this different space for hours on end. It's like, oh no, you can actually bond over these, and you know what, and bond over those sorts of games. But also, I've noticed that games are merging with music and merging with different types of TV shows and stuff, which I want to get into in a minute here. A little Mandalorian, if anybody's watching The Mandalorian. But I just want to answer Mags here. Are you planning to be at Big Church Day Out again this year in May if it's on?
Yeah, so we have we're not really releasing all of our date info that yet this year. We're still trying to figure out all the plans.
If we were asked and it was on, I think we would be. Yes,
yeah,
we would be there.
We would be there, but
there's a lot of
we haven't chatted
factors.
with them. But there's a lot of factors to have to deal with, and we're not even sure. We haven't heard from
Thanks,
Big
Kyle.
Church what the plan is this year. But Mags, we can't wait to come back when we do come back, because honestly, one of our favorite festivals in the world.
Oh, it is. We've talked about that in some of the earlier podcasts,
Hands
but it's
down.
the best. Yeah, it
Hands
really
down.
is the best. Nico, your mom is amazing. She is amazing, and we know that. You guys, you through us have chatted a few times, and thank you, Nico, for
Nico gave us bags
some
of
chips for Christmas.
So
we appreciate that.
Nico remembered our favorite flavors of chips.
Yeah. Just watch how hard you hit the table there, bud.
Is that too hard?
Maybe. I don't know.
Sorry, folks. Nico remembered our favorite flavors of chips, and he had our mom go out and he coordinated it.
Yep.
salt and vinegar chips for you, and all dressed for me. I don't know what your favorite flavors are out there, but I am constantly returning to the all dressed mode. It's just like I get all dressed. I get all dressed cravings. Myself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like an older person. Also, it's a Canadian thing.
Yeah.
All dressed is not everywhere, right?
No, I know.
But it's like I don't know if
it's
it's
a
like
weird
an older,
one.
is it an older person
It's
chip?
good, though.
Did you like them when you were younger? Did you like all dressed when you were younger?
Yes, I did. Yes, because it has vinegar in it.
Yeah. True.
Desi, your comment just went away, but yes, we're pumped about Canada as well, and we understand if anybody has to leave or just keep us on the side maybe while you're watching the game while it starts up. Nothing's. Well, the first period can be pretty interesting. Hey to Tammy. Hey to let's see if there's anybody else that I haven't mentioned yet.
Oh yeah.
I miss meals at your grandma Mary's from Kevin. Oh yeah,
Yes,
she makes the
of
best.
course, Kevin. You would know. Absolutely. Yeah, no, man. Well, you know what? That's one of the things that's been difficult about COVID is not being able to have those kinds of family meals as often. But certainly when things were okay, we were trying to have them as much as possible. So
I'm very sorry to hear that, Casperette. Yeah, it's been a rough year for sure, and we our thoughts and prayers are with you. Thanks for the name check. Oh, you have lots of fans in the UK from Mags. Right on. This is a good way from Leo. Thanks, man. This is a good way to start the new year. Well, it's a good way for us too. We connecting with you guys and chatting with a bunch of people. It's been tough, especially when we've not been doing this. Like it was nice in the summer when we were able to do this, and then I wanted to get the technology to be able to stream to multiple platforms, get this going, and it's been tough. I feel like right now it's just like feels really isolating, So this is nice, man. It feels good it feels good to me as well.
We also we feel for anybody out there who,
Happy New Year, Scott.
in the dark of the winter is maybe feeling really down. Like just make sure you reach out to people, get out there, and if you need to talk to someone, go talk to someone. This is the toughest time of year, the best of times. So
yeah,
this is new territory. COVID during the dark of winter in Canada.
Yeah.
It's pitch black dark outside
at 5 p.m.
And when we started the stream.
So hopefully this is a space that everybody can come. We can just have connect with and feel better. Amy says I also acquired a gaming PC at the end of 2020.
Oh wow!
It's a good time to get a gaming PC. I feel like with the quarantine and everything. Of course, with RGB. Let's go. She puts I believe that's the Kappa from Twitch. That's an emote.
Look at that.
I know those things, John. I know
emote.
these things.
Nice.
You guys. Michelle
People
says,
don't call them emoticons anymore. Remember when they were called emoticons?
John, don't even go there, man.
That's like T9 word when we were in high school.
Was that from the flip phones or what was it?
Yeah. When we were in high school, it was all T9 word, pre-smartphone era.
Yeah.
I was fast at T9. You were really fast at T9. Right?
Oh, I didn't have to look down.
No. You were.
Is anybody else with me?
You could T9 from your pocket.
I keep asking questions and then I'm like way behind the chat. Debbie said old school here, but had a PS2. That was when I asked about
we had
gaming systems.
Early one.
Off to watch the games. Take care, Francois. Thanks, man, for dropping in. Hopefully next Monday there won't be a game, so hopefully we'll see you then.
Yeah, no. Great to have you on.
Michelle hopes that we come back to Picton, to the Regent Theater. Happy New Year's to you. Yeah, we love the Regent Theater in Picton.
Man.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's in Picton, right, John?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, okay, Regent Theater.
It's
some
a great
good
spot.
memories. Some good memories at the Regent Theater.
Yeah, give us some stories.
We've played a number of things, and actually, it's kind of great to mention this because we didn't. I don't think we got a chance to. We might have mentioned this on last year's. I think it happened after our season finished last year.
Okay.
And I can say that now. Last year. But we performed at the Regent Theater on the Stuart McLean Vinyl Cafe, which is for anybody who isn't in Canada. Maybe you're in the United States and you listen to Prairie Home Companion on NPR. Stuart McLean is our storytelling genius on CBC Radio. And Stuart passed away a few years ago now, and he was an absolute treasure in Canadian radio. Every Sunday, we'd go to church, we'd come home from church, we'd listen to Stuart McLean stories, which are always hilarious, and he'd always feature a Canadian artist on his program. That would get us home from church, and then we'd have grilled cheese with like tomato or cream and mushroom soup. That was like our tradition every Sunday. And so for us, it was a big opportunity when it came along that we actually got to be on Stuart McLean's show. And it was at the Regent Theater that we did that show and recorded that. And it was awesome because they reran that show last summer. And that's like 10 years ago now, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They reran that show and the story.
That's right. And we chatted about it on the podcast.
And it was, so I couldn't remember if we chatted about it on the podcast or not.
We did.
But
yeah.
it was
We brought up
so cool. So anybody who remembers the Regent Theater, that place holds a very special place in our hearts for
Absolutely.
that. Absolutely, yeah.
Sherry says, hugs from the Holy Land. We've played in Israel many
Sherry.
times. Sherry's from Israel.
We miss going to Israel. Man, it's a beautiful place over there.
Oh, it's the best. That and like we've mentioned, that and Big Church Day Out are honestly the best
Top
places
tier,
we've ever
top
played.
tier.
Yeah. Tina says Happy New Year, stay healthy, stay healthy as well.
Right on. Likewise.
Debbie, oh yeah, we talked about the PlayStation 2. Outside ? Awesome. Debbie's chatting about outside. I can't remember what in reference that was to.
Jason was saying we'd like to be back in Hamilton. We loved performing in Hamilton. Hamilton's great. We're
Awesome.
great country music town actually. CCMAs have been in Hamilton a number of years. Always a good time.
Oh yeah, Hamilton. Yeah,
like great
absolutely.
host city.
Well, and lots of people have been moving there from Toronto. It's
Big arts community there.
Yeah.
Lots going on in Hamilton.
Oh yeah. Our bass player,
Alex
well,
and I
don't
we
know if
bought
he
a
was-
new queen size bed from a guy from
John-
Instagram
Yeah,
on Hamilton
that's a
when
John-
we're
that's a John.
remodeling.
That's
We're
a John.
remodeling the house.
That's a John. We got to keep up
What?
with our topics too. Holy smokes!
Well, that was a topic.
This new multi-stream with all this is great. I love the feedback. I've got to learn how to balance all this the right way. We still have quite a few topics to get through here, John, but let's quickly love your music. Saw you at a very young age at one of our family reunions. Yeah, Tina.
Think you were playing Traveling Soldier.
Oh yeah, that's a deep cut.
Dixie
but we played
Chicks,
that.
Traveling Soldier. I used to
John
sing
used
that.
to sing it.
See, Dixie Chicks.
Can you give us an a cappella version here, Johnny?
Yeah.
What is it? 2 years past? Past
two-
18.
Yeah, 2 days. 2 days past 18. He was waiting for the bus in his
See,
army.
you like how I knew the
Sat
first
down
lyrics?
in a booth. Cafe
Okay,
there.
okay.
You know what though? This that record, that home Dixie Chicks record, we would drive around Nashville when we were young because James and I used to go down with our family, perform in Nashville. We actually played a number of times
Well,
at
speaking
the
of Nash,
Station Inn.
Kevin.
The Station
Oh, good.
Inn.
That's the perfect shirt to be wearing.
Look at that
dude.
segue. World famous Station Inn. This was the first place that we ever played in Nashville.
That's
Okay,
perfect.
which is like the mecca of bluegrass
Yeah.
music in Nashville.
Yep.
And we performed in Nashville. I was 9. You were 9, and I was 12. And between gigs down there, we would be driving around with mom and dad, playing the Dixie Chicks home record on the rental car, and it was absolutely, I think, a really foundational album for us. That album,
I think it's-
go
yeah.
get that album if you
Absolutely.
haven't heard Dixie Chicks Home. Phenomenal album
one of
from
the
top
best.
to bottom. I just
One of the
listened to it
best.
from top to bottom
One of the
a
best.
few months ago. Totally phenomenal. So
Thanks,
check it
Linda,
out.
for liking the stream.
Hey,
Appreciate
mom's
that.
on.
Nice.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
let's keep up here. Kevin, what's your hat? Nash. Yeah, I bought it in Nashville. It was actually just in like this kind of I don't want to say cheesy, but just one of those
Like a
off the
mall
beaten
kiosk.
path kind of. No, it was they had their own store, but it was just like kind of touristy
Wasn't
stuff.
it at the Opryland Mall?
I think so. And I just
Yeah,
went in.
yeah.
I was like, I like that one. Like most of those touristy shops, you can find good stuff, but sometimes you can't. And it's like I was like, oh, I like that.
Oftentimes you can.
It drew me in.
Dave
Jason
Mohachi
says,
is on the thread.
Nice.
Okay, so everybody, Dave was one of the producers on the last record. Reminder with us, we've worked with Dave for many years.
Yeah.
Works with Gavin Brown regularly. Dave is a phenomenal producer
incredible.
and engineer. You've never seen a guy work Pro Tools like Dave Mohachi.
Yeah.
Never in
in
your
fact,
life.
I'm starting to try to learn some stuff, and from gaming a little bit. I
Right.
got the keyboard
You got it.
inputs, and
Dave and I share.
maybe one day I'll be able to be a quarter of as good on Pro Tools as Dave.
Dave and I share a deep fandom love for Star Wars. Like we're really deep cuts. Like Dave and I talk about like very, very Reddit level.
Oh,
like
speaking
threads about. And speaking of,
should we
I'm not-
get on to Mandalorian?
well, let's talk about Mandalorian. I don't
No
want to. I'm
spoilers?
not going to spoil it. It's too soon.
I will
think.
say this. I enjoyed the first season. I keep it real here, okay?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first season. I thought it was good. I also disclaimer that I'm not you know,
As
over
embroiled.
the top Star Wars
I'm
fan.
embroiled,
I
yeah.
always have loved it as a kid, but I'm not like John. I'm not like Dave. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say,
We're like mythologists.
I thought the first season was cool. I like the Western theme. I think that the first episode of that second season is my favorite of all of them so far.
Oh, dude, it gets so good. And I can't.
It gets better than
I
that?
can't. Oh yeah, like it was
I
just-
like they really played up the
And you know
Western.
what's nice though is that you're
vibes
watching it
of
now and you don't have to wait week to week. That was tough, like having to wait week to week. But I will say where the season goes this time and how it ends. Maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. If you didn't, go see it.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
But
I
how
understand
it
that.
ends, I cried, man. I cried.
You
in the last
cried?
episode. Absolutely did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
It completely like reached into my childhood, pulled me back. Totally incredible. It was so good. Anyway, had a blast. Dave and I chatted about it. We texted about it for like an hour.
Well, we might as well just keep going. I'm trying to keep up. Thanks, Mom, for chatting. Jason would love to come back to Hamilton. Yeah, I think we might have already said that.
But we would love to. That'd be great. Great
Okay,
time.
Mag says we'll be there too if it's on and cheering, dancing. We love that. We love that after party over in England. It's honestly the best. Thanks, Mom, for dropping in. We appreciate it. We know she's busy. Often she might be still at work when we're doing this. So thanks, Nico, for being here again. And Akeem's happy we're back. Happy we're back.
Oh, yeah.
PS2 best console of all time. Now that is a hot take from Amy.
Ooh, wow. That's a hot take.
Happy New Year.
What do you
Happy
think
New
about
Year
that,
to-
James?
Darcy's on here. Hey, guys, Happy New Year. Thanks, Darcy. Hopefully we didn't miss you. Sorry, I read your comment a little later. Madison, yes, please come. Desi,
Oh, I
dress
also-
reminds
actually-
me of high school.
I also forgot to mention about the Dixie Chicks thing.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention.
Okay, keep it quick, because
That we-
I can't catch up, dude.
No,
when
yeah,
you're-
I know. But I forgot to mention that we did actually get a chance. And what brought it full circle for us
Yeah.
was we actually got a chance to perform with the Dixie Chicks.
Yes, the
Down
two
east,
sisters.
obviously. Well,
and
down
yeah.
east, but also with the Courtyard Hounds in Prospect Park in Brooklyn, and that was the moment where it was like, oh my goodness, full circle for us, and that album
Okay.
became fully realized. So I will say you got to go get that record and get the Courtyard Hounds record
Now
too.
I'm thinking
Good
about it. I thought I was able to get through before we got too far off the Star Wars thing, but we do have a video that we want to play.
one. Oh yeah. Well,
That's relative. Okay, so John is a Star Wars crazy, and hopefully, well, maybe this video won't be entertaining enough for Dave, but it's entertaining. It's entertaining. I'll get some more footage too once
We gotta
I
get
got
more.
on top of this PC that I got this. Well, I spoke about it in our earlier podcast that I was really interested in the new Oculus Quest, and it's Oculus Quest 2. And in fact, for all our Facebook people, not that you might even care, but Facebook had in the last year or so bought Oculus, and so it's kind of a
Right.
Facebook thing. So
Right. We did a whole- I
here we
remember
are
we talked
promoting it on
about it.
Facebook here.
Right. Yeah. No, we are
anyways,
not being paid.
No, but
we do this out of the goodness of our heart.
it really is an incredible new virtual reality headset.
It's
thing
incredible.
that-
It really
that
is.
It's
Like-
standalone. You can play without having to be connected to a computer or anything.
I wasn't
And I got
sure
that.
about it. James was telling me, he was like, "Yeah, man, this virtual reality thing's really good." And I've seen the things with the phone where you kind of put your phone on your
Yeah,
face,
yeah.
and I was, well, we'll see how good this thing is. It's amazing. It feels like you're in another world wearing ski goggles.
Yeah. So that's what John's really was sold on it, which
was
is
sold.
good. Which was there's this really funny one I want to get actually. Well, our mom's here, but I want to get our mom to try because I think her. Yeah, we'll just keep it between us, guys. Is she? I think her reaction would be the best, so maybe I'll try to get this. But I'm gonna try to get her to put on the VR. And there's this one where you go up like 80 stories in a building, and you walk out on a plank, and you can
I
actually
did it.
map a real plank in
Scared
real
the-
life, so it feels like you're on a plank and
Scared
whatever.
the daylights
And you
out of
step off, you fall off the building. Anyways,
Do you think by whispering into the mic, mom who's on the chat's not going to hear you?
John, it's all for
It's all for show.
It's all for vibes,
It's
dude.
all for. This is the scene.
Don't even. Okay, so anyways,
What
I
were we
got
talking
John
about?
in
Oh, yeah.
this, the Oculus, and the first weekend that I had it, we had already planned on going on a trip up to a hunting cabin up in northern Ontario. Okay,
Yeah.
and so we were with our dad. And so we went to this cabin. Of course, I think this will be some good entertainment in the cabin. And so I bring this Oculus Quest, and there's some.
Such a weird scenario.
It was
to
so
do that.
funny getting our dad to put on this thing, and he got
So funny.
so immersed in it, I guess, that when there's this tutorial and he took the controllers and he there's this table in front of him in virtual reality, and he thought he was grabbing things from the table and doing all this stuff. So in his head, he's like, "Oh, this table is a table," and so he puts the thing down. And he just out of the blue drops the controllers on
he just
on the
he
ground.
puts the controllers on the virtual table, and
Yeah.
I will say though, it tricks you. Like, you can know you're in virtual
Well,
reality.
it tricked John on that plank one, but
No, I went in. I knew I'd done this VR thing a few times with you, and I put it on. And I was like, I know it's gonna be fake.
yeah.
And then your brain like believes that you're actually walking out on a plank and that you're falling from like a 50-story.
So we have a video here that I'm gonna play.
Brutal. Oh, this is me.
But Desi, a video of John in virtual reality, and not just in virtual reality, but in Star Wars world. And you know, I'm sure that's something that Dave, if he's still here, would have thought is pretty cool. It's like being in the Star Wars universe.
Oh my goodness.
Desi says
All I've ever wanted.
all dress reminds him of high school. The fries were so bad, we would put everything on them. Vinegar,
great.
ketchup, gravy. By the end of the 4 years, and we all thought they were so good. That's so funny.
That's really all dressed. Let's like throw everything on it, you know.
Amy says, this multi-stream is so good. Such a vibe. I'm glad it's
Ooh,
working.
good.
I'm glad it's working.
We've got a vibe, James.
Mom
We
says,
finally have a
love
vibe.
that live singing. Hey, James, how about a few bars of Can I Get an Amen? Okay.
There you go.
Stuart's an absolute fave. Desi said, Stuart McLean. Helen, Happy New Year. Michelle, love the chicks, right? Yeah, they've changed their name now. That's right.
That's right.
We had to remember
right.
that.
Yeah, the chicks. Right.
Linda Robb says she has that CD. Julie Stockdale says Happy New Year. Thanks, Julie, for being. Kevin, thanks, man. Don't know if you're still here, but we appreciate that. Close friend from Winnipeg and his whole family, beautiful family from Winnipeg, and they have supported us so many times playing out there in Winnipeg.
So many times. Yeah.
We've played shows to what would have been no people, and the Follises
Years
were
ago,
there.
yeah, years ago, and I should just take a moment
They're
to talk
honestly
about that.
gems.
Years
man.
ago, we were playing Winnipeg, and Winnipeg, tough audiences to get out the shows.
Well, they have lots of stuff out there.
They
man.
got a
They
lot
got a lot
going
of
on out there.
restaurants. They got a lot of
and
everything.
you know what? It's as Kevin says, it's like a look. You know, you got to come out here a few times and before people go, okay, yeah, we'll take a chance on you, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So we experienced that early on. You got to earn the Winnipeg crowd, man.
Oh, yeah.
They love their music out there. They love their country music. So over years, we'd play, and it would be pretty small crowds, totally right. And you know what? Most of the crowd might be the Fallis family, and it was totally a great moment. We went back. It was a year ago this past September that we were brought out there by QX to do the annual softball game that they do, the charity softball game by Janet at QX. It was awesome time. And we performed, and there was a huge crowd there, and we were like,
yeah,
oh
it was
my
nice. It was
Winnipeg.
Nice, yeah.
We finally got folks out at Winnipeg,
Yeah.
and it was the Fallis family who early on were like total champions for us. Good family friends.
That's
out there.
good. I'm
You
gonna
guys are
catch
awesome.
up here because I feel like those comments were quite a while ago. So Helen, we love your music. Any tips for lockdown mom in England trying to keep her kids playing instruments?
Oh yeah.
Well, one thing we always
a good point.
say is playing with. So if they have siblings that play, or if you have a parent that plays, playing together is a big thing. So that it becomes a communal thing, and that it's not isolated. In fact, kind of like what we were talking about before. And then playing for others. So if that's not going out and playing for others, but if you could put together little, concerts in your living room, and
or even
the
live stream.
siblings come in.
With people and for people.
Thanks, Jennifer, for the follow. Appreciate
Playing
that.
with people and for people is the big thing.
For the family.
You got even if it is just a live stream over Facebook or something like that. If you work up the courage to perform, and especially if you're young, actually any age, and you're learning an instrument, if you can work up the courage to perform for somebody, you've probably put in the time to practice enough to get the song down and play for people, right?
Yeah.
That's a big one. And
Right on.
keep encouraged.
Amy
It's a tough
says
time to
if
play.
she tries it, you got to stream it on Twitch. So like my mom, I can try to figure that out. I've been doing some other streams on a different channel that I can tell you about at some point, Amy, just like gaming stuff. So Unity Everett is what I go by. But Akeem, I'd love if you guys came back to Toronto. Absolutely, man. Tina, oh wow, so cool to play with the chicks. Again, love your music. Stay safe and have it. Absolutely, same to you. Dave says I'm all in. That's awesome.
Right on.
Okay, so I think we're up. Darcy, Maddie, and I on here
Yay!
watching. That's
Maddie,
amazing.
that's
Julie,
great, you guys.
Please come back to Big Church Day Out. Absolutely, we hope to come back. Heather, thanks for the Happy New Year. Eliza, Traveling Soldier is such a great song. Absolutely. Game's ready to start. We'll see you next week, Linda. Please, I hope to see you next week.
Yes.
And then Debbie,
Yeah.
Joe,
Enjoy the World Juniors.
Joe and my first live feed with you guys. Thank you so much, Debbie. We really appreciate you guys. Are amazing. Once COVID is done, hope you play in Eastern Ontario, Kemptville, Brockville area. Absolutely, Debbie. We absolutely hope to see you at a show soon. Okay, so let's get to this this video, and then if we can tie up anything.
Okay, so
quick
this is
that
the
we
Star
wanna
Wars
talk-
video, and also so there is one other thing I want to mention after the Star Wars.
Yeah, and
video,
I got a few other things,
Yeah.
but
Let's
maybe
do
we
it.
maybe we push in next week. We were just trying to get everything up and going this week, and
Yeah.
trying to make sure things were working. Glad that everybody's able to chat. I don't know why the camera keeps zooming in and out, but that's okay.
It's focusing.
Hopefully nobody's
See?
getting sick.
It's focusing.
And we're so happy everybody. Dropping in for even if it's a couple minutes, just saying hello. It really
that's a
makes
big
us
deal.
feel great to be able to hear from you, and for everybody to come together. I know that I watch a lot of streams. I get into a lot of streams, and it really is such a nice thing to just kind of feel a part of something that's a community, and still everybody's safe during these quarantine times. You know what I'm saying? So let's get this video going, and I think it's already that.
Oh yeah,
okay?
Here we go. This is great.
So-
So this is me playing Star Wars. Vader Immortal game.
Okay.
Okay. So being a big Star Wars fan, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be immersed in the Star Wars world, and this was my shot.
So here's at this cabin
Okay?
up in.
And so I've got a lightsaber in my hand, and I'm fighting off guys. It's
All right, here you go.
pretty cool.
John fighting with the lightsaber.
Look at me, I'm so involved.
Finally made it.
He's about to hit the.
He is in
I didn't hit the wall once.
Star Wars world. Fighting Darth.
I think I'm talking to Darth Vader at this point. I'm looking at him. Oh.
Yeah,
there
no,
we go.
he's very
Very
this-
intense. Look at how
this-
intense is it. Look at that. That's entrenched.
What's so funny is that when I got into the world,
I'm wearing moccasins, like in a hunting camp. It's so bizarre.
He is in
and I wish I had another clip of some of the time when John, he would get so into it that he'd almost hit the wall. And right there, you can hear me saying it, but I was worried that he was gonna smash right into the wall. You can make a barrier with it, but
It works though. The barrier inside
scary.
it keeps you from hitting stuff.
But what's so funny is it's like you wait all this time to get into the Star Wars universe,
yeah.
and when I got into it, basically, when I got the lightsaber, after I played long enough, all I would do was just kind of like swing my wrist, and
Oh yeah,
and
James
it's
would
like
fight.
it's like that meme on the internet where it's like what you think you look like and what you actually look like
Yeah,
are two very different things. I honestly felt so cool in my head, but like I was just like
James's lightsabering was this, right?
Just 'cause he
I
was,
actually
like,
got
the
stance.
fastest.
Yeah, I will say. Okay. Thank you, James, for giving me the opportunity to be in the Star Wars world, because I remember being 15 years old and watching Revenge of the Sith after it came out, because I was like, it was I was into every single movie. I'm into every Star Wars movie. I love all of them. Okay, I love all of them. And Revenge of the Sith came out, and at that time, I didn't know anything else was coming. Like that, the Star Wars saga was over as far as I knew then, right? And it was like, I just came out of that theater, came home, I went to bed, and I'm laying awake in my bed, and I'm looking at the house. And of course, we grew up in an old stone farmhouse, right? So, and I'm like, this room with like its old trim and like old hardwood floors is so vastly different than the Star Wars universe that I can't even pretend I'm there.
No,
right?
you can't.
And it was like, I just remember just feeling despondent, thinking, like I'm never gonna get old enough that it's gonna feel like I'm in Star Wars with the flying cars and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But there we are. VR has made it possible.
So, anyways, to kind of cap, that 2020 was quite the year.
the virtual year,
We started our stream. It was pretty low key and
rough and tumble.
rough.
Yeah. Get
We're
in there.
really happy to get this up and going this week. We have lots of stuff that we want to talk about. I mean, I just had a list. We barely got through
I know.
half the things we want to talk about, but I didn't. Honestly, I didn't expect such a nice response in the chat. You guys,
It's amazing.
yes,
this is the best part.
Amy. That's what I said. Yeah, and I got some VODs on there. some stuff, but more mainly in the mornings I do that.
I do want to take a minute before we go.
But now that I'm using this for this, I gotta make a new account on this.
On a bit of a somber note, I do want to take a minute before we go. I had posted this on Instagram a few days ago. On Christmas, we lost a true pioneer of bluegrass music, one of the most important figures in bluegrass music, most influential figures in American music. Tony Rice was an absolute brilliant guitar player, singer when he could sing. He lost his voice in the 90s, and he was my absolute, and still is, my biggest number one musical influence of all time, Tony Rice. And so for me, it's just an absolute devastating loss. He was Ricky Skaggs had tweeted saying that he was making coffee, and he passed away while he was making coffee on Christmas Day this year. 69 years old, if I recall that correctly. If you aren't familiar with Tony Rice, you need to dig back into his music. His style of playing guitar formed the basis of pretty much any session player that plays an acoustic instrument in Nashville you'd ever talk to. I'm almost positive every single one of them would say, oh yeah, I was influenced by Tony Rice. Doesn't matter if you're an acoustic guitar player or a mandolin player or a fiddle player, I was influenced by Tony Rice's records or his music. Mm-hmm. So big loss in bluegrass and country music there. And so I just wanted to say thank you, Tony, for your huge impact on me as a kid playing guitar. He's the whole reason why I couldn't get my guitar out of my case fast enough, the one that Pop had built for me, and learn how to play guitar. And guitar is my main instrument now because of Tony Rice's instructional video on VHS that I would pop in after school. So that's just taking a moment to recognize a legend for sure.
Absolutely. Yes, Jason, thanks, man. Appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
So we're really happy to be able to get this up and going, and we have lots of ideas and content and stuff that we want to do, but mainly it's really to be able to have a way to talk with other people and not feel so isolated during it is lockdown where we're at now, and it varies throughout the world, but and for those that are in lockdown, hopefully it's just a place where people can get together here, and we just are able to chat and brighten up each other's days. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and that's taking it back to what we were saying at the beginning of the episode. This is about welcoming you into our family. All of you on the chat here, you feel like you're a part of our family. All of you.
A lot of you know our mom, are connected with her on Facebook or other things as well, and so in different varied ways.
Great to sit in the living room with you here, you guys, and just get to hang out, because this is what our music is all about. It really is. So
we're on again every Monday at 5:30 at 5:30 on Mondays. I guess I was trying to say. Obviously it potentially could grow from there. I don't know. Like we have, you never know. But at this point, that's the phrase I'm looking for, guys. Real polished. 5:30s, Mondays.
Hack and slash.
5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Mondays. And if you're able to stop in and just say hello, it really makes our day a lot brighter. And
Absolutely.
I think, if you guys are able to chat with each other in the chat, it makes, as Nico does with our mom and Amy with our mom and Amy with other folks and whatnot, it's a really cool thing. All right, guys. Love you guys. Thanks so much